Hi everyone, this is daveac and this is my vblog 195 for Friday the 13th of April 2012. But I survived Friday the 13th. How do I know? Well, because I'm recording this, unfortunately, one day late again on Saturday the 14th of April. So apologies for that. I really must get my act together. But the strapline for today's show is, I survived Friday the 13th to talk of. And that's all I'm going to write down, because the next bit is naughty words, because I'm going to be talking of a naked computer and a naked wine. All in under 15 minutes, wine at the end. And I also have an apology to make, is that one of the reasons why I didn't record on Friday the 13th, and it wasn't to avoid the 13th, I was busy doing some sport work for TalkShoe, but this, I'm afraid, is still opened. So not being talked about this week, and I really must get you some more classical music on the show. Promise to do that, but I was honestly quite busy, and I'm sure you are busy, but let's get on with it. Well, as I mentioned last week, Podshock has been recording. I did indeed join Lewis, Graham and Taras, and therefore Podshock episode 268 is now up on the feeds. It's also up on podshock.net, and it was talking about Doctor Who The New Companion, the new Doctor Who promo for Series 7, feedback, and as they always say, much more. And it runs about an hour and 25 minutes, and you can listen to it on the Podshock site. I'll get it from iTunes. And as I say, well, no, let's go on to the Cult and Collective, because I want to really move on fairly quickly today. Cult and Collective, of course, busy as always. Last Sunday, which was the 8th of April, we did our episode 145, and that was Neat Gadgets and Weaponry. Unfortunately, Ian wasn't able to make it, had a family event, but nonetheless, we still had I think a very good programme, ran just over an hour and 40 minutes, and that is already up on the TalkShoe feed. That's 54821, and of course up on iTunes. And this coming Sunday, that will be the, what's the date? It will be the 15th, won't it? On Sunday the 15th, we will be doing Mutations. So think the Lazarus Experiment from Doctor Who, or any sort of fantasy, sci-fi, a horror film where there's some sort of mutant or mutations going on. That's going to be our topic. But there's other good news. The Cult and Collective have got back onto the commentary gig. Yes, but in the middle of the week, we put up the latest commentary. We're back with Sherlock. We've already done commentaries on the 3 episodes of Series 1. Yes, I know 3 doesn't sound a lot, but they are virtually full-length TV movies, each one of them. So Series 2 has obviously aired now, and we were talking a commentary on Episode 1, A Scandal in Belgravia. Of course, the original Conan Doyle story was called A Scandal in Bohemia. But anyway, that is up on the feeds. Hope you will give that a listen. Again, of course, with Ian, Mike Manderthor, and myself. And in fact, as I'm doing this, you might think, he's rushing a bit, isn't he? Well, one of the other podcasts I want to go on later today, in fact, is Talking Twilight Zone, and that is TalkShoe ID 68228. That will be going live in about 50 minutes on TalkShoe. It's done every other week, and this week they're on the episode of the Twilight Zone called The Midnight Sun. So hoping to get this uploaded so I can go and join them on that. And I'm not going to talk about all the other things because I do plug them quite often, I must admit. So let me just talk about a couple of things on the internet, and then I want to talk about a naked computer and a naked wine. There's been quite a big, important security update for Windows 7. I think I had 7 updates early Wednesday morning on my PC. And there's also been an announcement by Microsoft that soon they will be withdrawing support for their operating system, Windows XP. So quite a lot going on there. Also, a little bit disturbing for me, as I'm just getting my head around it, that Google Plus have had a major facelift and update to Google Plus. I don't know, with MySpace having all their changes over the years, Facebook having all its changes, and now Google Plus that seems to be quite a simple interface. And I know Bruce, that's Logan Pringlemeyer of the Media Outsiders, he's very upset with the new look of Google Plus, and I think he might be right, because it's coming a little bit too much like Facebook. Of course, the one killer application that Google Plus has now is this Hangout facility, where you can have video calls with quite a few people on it together. And I was on a couple of those with Randall and a lot of other people talking about that Kiva, the charity giving site. But really, that's the killer application, I think, for Google Plus, the Hangout feature. Okay, what else? Okay, yeah, before I go to my naked computer and my naked wine, let me just say that I want to just mention a book. On the Cut and Collected podcast, quite some time ago, we did an episode where we interviewed Anthony Burge, Jessica Burke, and Christine Larson about a book they brought out called The Mythological Dimensions of Doctor Who. Well, they've got a second book out now. In fact, they're editors, of course, of these two books. And this is The Mythological Dimensions of Neil Gaiman. And you can find that with Kitsoon Books. That's www.kitsoon.com, and look up The Mythological Dimensions of Neil Gaiman. Of course, Neil Gaiman wrote The Doctor's Wife, a film called Stardust, and he's done lots and lots and lots. And when we did our Cult and Collected podcast on top science fiction books, about 3 of his books were in that, well, certainly in the top 25 of that list. So very, very an increasingly important figure in fantasy and sci-fi. So sounds like a good book to check out. Now, before I talk about my naked computer and my naked wine, just one other thing, and this is also wine related, just to mention that there's a road tour going around the UK that will be starting in May, 26th to the 7th of May in Manchester, all the way around the country and ending in London, and that is with the 3 wine men, and that is Ollie Smith, Oz Clarke, Tim Aiken doing this road show, 3 shows in a day, limited seats for 40 people. I haven't been able to find the price of it yet, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a road show that they're taking around the country. So if you're interested in wine, give that a look. Just in Google, put 3 wine men. And their main site is 3winemen.co.uk, and I'm sure you'll find it from there. Well, let's look at the time. Yes, I better get cracking now. I'm wearing this top of mine in sort of honour. Where's that wrist symbol gone? I never do it right with the mirror thing. The Raspberry Pi has shipped their first shipment of their new, very basic priced and naked board computer. Just about the size of a credit card, but it has HDMI output, it has 2 USB plugs, it has the grunt to handle high definition video. It's powered by a ARM 11 processor, 256 megabytes of RAM on board, and of course you can plug in other USB storage. With shipping and VAT in the UK, the Model B is going to be about £30 odd by the time it actually arrives to your house. And I have registered my interest. I went to one of the 2 places where you can register interest, and that is RS Online, and they have a page there. Put in Google, I'm sure you'll find it. Register here to express an interest in Raspberry Pi, and that's Pi spelled P-I, no E on the end, and it really looks an interesting thing, harking back to the golden days of RISC PCs, and before that, the BBC computer, although in actual fact they were an awful lot more expensive. I mean, the BBC computer was £400 in 1983-84. so equivalent to being costing about £1,200. And this, of course, is, I think with shipping and VAT, it's just over £31. But the actual thing itself costs £21.60p. So I'm looking forward to getting one of those and having a little play with it. It runs Linux, but it looks an exciting little thing. You actually connect it to an ordinary TV. One last thing, and then we'll get to tasting the wine, and that is just to say, last week I drank a wine which was Lionsgate, and let me just mention what it was. It was Lionsgate Cabernet Sauvignon / Shiraz 2011 from South Africa, 14%. Well, I didn't particularly much like it when I did the show, so I left more than half the bottle. Next day, before throwing it out, I thought, I'll have another taste. And boy, had it improved. Don't mean it was a knockout wine, but it had certainly improved. And on the second night, it was very drinkable indeed. So I want to just revise my review of that to say for the price, it was very drinkable. I think it was a $5.99 wine. Okay, I haven't got long because I need to finish in under 15 minutes. Here's today's wine, and it is Casilo Catadu. I think that's the castle being on the picture. Grand Reserve 2005. Always makes me shiver when I see 2005 on a Northern Hemisphere wine, because that's a good year. Product of Spain. As soon as it focuses, freeze frame. 14% by volume. It's been poured out nearly an hour, and yeah, I'm getting quite a nice. It's very black crunchy fruit coming off it, really. Tempranillo grape, by the way, 100% Tempranillo, in mixed French and American oak, I think. And it's got a lovely sort of jammy smell to it. Let's have a taste. Oh, that's nice. That is a deep dark fruitiness. We've got the actual tannins are not overpowering, but they're there, and with vanilla notes, as they say. Let me just read what it says on the back here. It displays a powerful fruit aromas from its selected ripe Tempranillo grapes. The tannins are soft, and that's exactly what I think. The fruit is sweet and round in the mouth. It's almost a plumminess. The wine is a special project between winemaker Georges Caus, C-A-U-S, I don't know how to pronounce that, and of course Naked Wine Angels, of which I'm one, by the way. Using 100% Tempranillo grapes, aged in French and American oak, to show how good the wines of Valencia really are. So that is that means I like it. Very nice. Price, I think the full price is about £9, but as a Naked Wines thing you get the discount. So let's say it's around an £8 wine. So that's what, $15 wine. And I'm going to have another taste before we end. Yeah, you know, I think wine from Spain is my favourite at the moment. Oh, and one little great story. Well, I think it's a great story. Quickly, in the last minute, I've got this iPad. You've probably heard me mention it before. And I got a message on that from Ian the Sixth Doctor. He was in this place waiting for a prescription, and they actually, either next door or part of it, had a whole wine selection. And he was sending me pictures, and he's saying, look at these wines here. What is it? What sort of wines do you want me to look at? And I said, well, I like American Zinfandel. He looked at the Zinfandel, and between us, me in the UK, him in America, we picked the wine that he drank on Mike's quiz show on Friday night, the trivia quiz, and he loved the Zinfandel, Ravenswood Zinfandel, and he loved it. So that was a real success over the internet. And 15 minutes is up, so I have to stop quite abruptly. Thank you for watching. Catch you next week, everyone. Bye-bye.